Welcome to the third edition of Colby Sawyer Insights, a video news magazine about the people and activities of our campus during the fall semester of 1990. I'm Kelly Lynch.
And I'm Susan Urton. For the next 30 minutes, we'll tell you about 2 campus buildings, a full drama production, a college lab school, a popular professor, and what upperclassmen are thinking about in terms of life after Colby Sawyer College. But first we go to 2 stories that made headlines in September. Coeducation. Jennifer Raji begins.
The fall of 1990 began a new era here at Colby Sawyer. For the first time since the early 1970s, men were enrolled at the college. Although the initial decision was met with protest, almost all seemed to have come to accept, and even like, the decision to go co-ed. Students and faculty were filled with apprehension and excitement as the first men arrived on campus, but most fell back into old routines. Even with 67 men now on campus, many things have not changed. Co-ed residential life, however, is a new experience. Maria Francisconi, resident coordinator of Austin Hall.
A couple of them were anxious to get the upperclassmen here because they were, I wouldn't say worried, but they were thinking about how the upperclassmen were going to react to them being on campus because of everything that had happened before we went co-ed.
Freshman Ed Spooner.
Well, I heard some stories about the upperclassmen that they were going to come and they were going to be like mad that we were here, but when they came here, they were great. They were sweethearts.
I think that the males like their stereos a lot louder, so I've dealt with that. I think there's more noise generally on campus. I think that's due to the number of people that are here as compared to previous years. I think there are more alcohol-related incidents. Again, the number of people have increased, and therefore the number of visitors have increased on campus. I think I have a really good bunch of guys here on this floor. We get along well with each other, and they come in and they socialize with me. They'll sit in my room and watch a movie with me, or sit and talk, and a lot of times I'll go down to their rooms. It's just like any other normal RA kind of floor relationship.
Sophomore Michelle Morgan.
Well, I came early for orientation, and some of the sports camps were already here. And as soon as I came in, the guys came down and asked if they needed, if I needed any help carrying stuff up. So it was pretty, everybody was really casual about it. No one really was uptight or anything.
I don't even feel like it's a minority because, the women and the men kind of blend together, and it's cool.
Programming President and Student Government Social Chair, Darlene Grega.
I feel the social life is going better, not as far as participation, but as far as numbers. There are a lot more people on campus this year. We had an entering class of almost 250. Our first major event was Fall Fest weekend, and we did Ray Boston's Caribbean Cruise. That went over very well. We did Battle of the Bands, and that went over really well. I wish there was a lot more involvement in the actual band members or lip syncers, but I'm sure we have it again in the spring and in the winter, I believe, and I'm sure we'll get a lot more participation because they saw what it was. People saw what it was. The audience was full. Everybody had a really good time. It went over very well. As far as changing our social programming, we haven't really changed because of the information we get from the social programming is geared towards schools that are co-ed and non-co-ed, so it's not like we were doing female programming.
I came to Colby Sawyer because it was like a small school and had the major I wanted, but going co-ed was a plus. I'd tell other people to come here because I think it's a great school. I like the academic program, and it's fun.
I think it's better that we have the men on campus because it makes it, it's more like a family, because everybody hangs out, and it makes it more of like a living situation. I like it better.
I'm Angela Bettini. Another aspect of coeducation takes place in the classroom. The addition of men has added new ideas and different dynamics to the learning environment. One concern is the question of class leadership and whether or not men are dominating women. Professor Ann Page Stecker, Director of Advising.
At the moment,
I have been so attuned to expecting that men will dominate the class that I think all my sensors are operating, and I try very hard to be as fair as possible. Now, I don't yet have a class in which men are anything but a tiny majority. I do catch myself trying to give men a chance to speak, and that's interesting.
Scientific investigations teacher, Professor Larry Defoe.
I have not noticed that at all. In the classes, I have 3 classes with men in it. In all 3 classes, I have not noticed any specific leadership or taking over of leadership in the class by the men to date.
Business teacher, Professor Betty Herrick.
My feeling has been that that's not true, that hasn't happened. Even in my freshman classes, I don't feel that that's the case, although in one time we had a group project and I noticed a man took the lead, or a young man took the lead over the women, but gradually during the course of the discussion, the women really got involved as well as the men.
Athletic trainer and teacher, Matt Gherkin.
I have a laboratory experience class, taping stills class, and in there you would tend to feel that would be the case, and or you might feel that way, and I don't see that at all. The men and women are pretty evenly mixed. The only difference that I see is they tend to be separate.
Junior, Don Reed.
No more than really in the women's. I mean, in the classroom, it's about equal between men and women. The positions that are taken and the classroom discussions are centered around everyone.
Freshman, Tony Bertone.
Yeah, I think most of my classes that guys answer just as much or even more so than the girls do, because I think we have something to prove that some of the girls think they're above us, that we're not going to be part of it, but we're trying to prove that wrong.
Sophomore, Leslie Cammett.
Only in one class, and it's only one person, and when this person starts to speak, other people try to speak to eliminate his domination of the class.
I think that men probably have more relaxed posture. I hadn't really thought about it till you asked the question. More relaxed posture in the classroom. They tend to sprawl back in a chair and open their legs. I notice they tend to sit in the back. I notice they tend to sit together.
I think it's the females who have to change because they've been going to an all-girls school. To me, it's just the same thing as high school.
I think that the women today, at least my impression of women today, are much more self-confident than they were perhaps 30, 40, 50 years ago. So I don't think those same fears are necessarily valid today. At least in my experience of the young women I've known here, that they're more assertive than they used to be. And I think that they should be able to handle it quite well.
I think one of the reasons that this particular learning environment will keep any one voice from being dominant is the fact that we have thought a lot about how the classroom might change before the classroom actually changed. And because women, even when this was an all-women's college, have been perceived as a minority, I think that people who teach here have always tried to encourage a minority voice, and I can't imagine that commitment ever changing.
Although it is still too early to draw a definite conclusion, males are beginning to make their presence known in the classroom. However, things may be different in the future when 50% of the campus is male.
Hi, I'm Julie Camerata. This spring, Colby Sawyer College will unveil its new sports complex that took 1 year and $8 million to complete. Many new facilities wait for use by the Colby Sawyer and surrounding community. Aside from the new fitness options presented by the new complex, it is projected that Colby Sawyer's athletics and student recruiting programs, as well as the sports science major, will be enhanced. President Peggy Stock.
The project was funded through gifts and from alumni and friends of the college, and thus far we have, and in particular the Board of Trustees,
The Board of Trustees have given over $5 million. And then altogether we've raised $6.3 million for the facility thus far. The total project costs are $8 million, and that includes the financing charges and the endowment to run the building.
Janet Walden, Director of Van Size Fitness Center. Yeah, the new sports and recreation complex is slated to be open in January of 1991 to the college community. It's a 63,000 square foot complex. In it, we will have a 6-lane Olympic-sized pool, 2 racket courts, 1 handball court, an indoor track, men and women's locker rooms, a 3,600 square foot fitness center, which is about 2 times the size of the one we have right now, and we'll have a very new state-of-the-art athletic training complex.
Athletic Director Deb McGrath. The new facility is going to have a tremendous impact on the total campus. It's going to impact the quality of life for faculty, students, and staff. It's going to have a tremendous impact on our sports science program. And I think especially it's obviously going to have a tremendous, provide a tremendous value for our athletic program. It's going to, right away, it will help us to recruit prospective students, whether they be athletes, whether they be whatever student. And when the minute you put up a facility that's a multi-million-dollar facility, you make a statement to the world that you value athletics, that you value recreation, and obviously that you value that whole piece. We have the staff. I think we have really quality, excellent staff here to date. And now with the facilities, it allows us to really become a quality Division III program.
Chair of Sports Science, Rick LaRue.
We then have the area that's called the Van Size Fitness Center now, and that's an exciting space now for our majors. Our majors are actively involved in the operation of the Van Size Fitness Center and will be more so when we move into the new facility. It is an excellent opportunity for the college to facilitate a variety of programs for the community. And because the community participates in those programs, it's an excellent opportunity for students to work with more regular people than just college students.
I think it says to the world that Colby Sawyer College is on the move, that we understand the need for young people for fitness and wellness. It's an opportunity for us to integrate the academic or sports medicine and sports science program with the recreational and yet also the intercollegiate program. That facility is something that I have dreamed about since I came here. When I arrived almost 5 years ago, I was told that 25 years ago the Board of Trustees said the college needed 3 things. It needed a new library. We have one of those. We needed a new campus center. We now have one of those. And that it needed an athletic and recreational center.
One of the completed projects over the last few years here on the Colby Sawyer College campus has been the library. Hi, I'm Megan Young, and the Susan Colgate Cleveland Library Resource Center has been open and well used since the completion in 1986. The Library Learning Center is a careful and deliberate blend of time, a modern facility while at the same time part of the community's historical heritage. About 1/2 of the 19th century buildings are preserved in some shape or form. For instance, in order for a visitor to get inside, he must pass through the restored farm silo where cattle feed was once stored and where pigeons nested. A 150-year-old hay fork dangles from the ceiling of the open-plan, split-level facility. Old shingle nails, hand-honed timber frames, and ancient sliding doors can be found throughout the building. Views of Mount Kearsarge and Mount Sunapee can be seen through renovated barn windows. The library is named after the late Susan Colgate Cleveland, a long-time trustee, benefactor, and granddaughter of the institution's first teacher. The 31,000-foot building has been widely used by the students, faculty, and community since it was completed almost 5 years ago. Due to the dreams of college president H. Nicholas Muller and the architectural visions of designer Robert Bowie, the award-winning academic center has become a focus of Colby Sawyer life.
can name Vivian. A couple of friends of mine and I would like to tell you about the play. Right, guys? Hi, Sam. This is my friend. He's a sheep. My name's Paul. And this is my friend Dickie. He's the scientist. Hi there. Well, let's tell them about the play. Well, one day I got this great idea to build a two-speed clock. Yeah, and I was there helping it. Me too. And you're not going to believe it. It actually worked. And we got to find right off the Earth. Yeah. Next we made another really weird planet. It had orange streets and 3 moons. And this really gross casserole called Moonafish. And the leader of the planet, George Toback, was after Bob, who was the only sheep on the planet. George wanted his wool for a sweater. He tried to trick us to keep us on the planet. And then he stole the clock. And then he tried to capture Bob. But I held off his army of pandas with my karate. And then he chased us all over the planet. And then he captured me. And then he captured Bob and me. But Edward Hopkins saved us. He was just washed up after we found in the back alley. He helped us get our clock back. And our clock took us back to our home in Waukegan. Well, that's the main idea of our play. But we also think it's important to tell you about the people who made this so possible. For example, Mike Lavelle. He was the set designer. He designed everything from Binky's Attic in Waukegan to George Toback's throne. Jerry Glitz directed the play. He did everything from choosing the play to painting the stage floor. He also helped everyone from the actors themselves to the musicians. And with the help of Janet Condit Glitz, the show became a great success. I have to say that there are a few people who really helped make the show a big hit. Diane Carson, our stage manager, helped us with everything. She basically looks after all the details so that Jerry Glitz could look at the overall picture. But the best thing she did was make a chocolate chip cookie. Another thing that helped make the play really interesting was the lighting. Jerry Glitz designed it and decided which lights to use during the production. Blair Orloff organized and worked the lights board during the play. They both did a really good job. The choreography, music, costumes, and makeup also added a lot to the production. The choreography was designed by Dan Sanborn, and everyone had a great time learning the dance step. The music was directed by James Wilshire, and was helped by his wife, Lauren. Meredith Smith designed the costume, and boy, did she do a great job. But the hardest part of the production was the makeup, because everyone had to do their own. All these things added a lot to the production and made it really fun to do and to watch. Well, geez, I need to go, so it's time for dinner. Dinner? What are you having? Can I come? You're welcome to come, Bob. Thanks for having casserole. Great. Well, there you have it. The inside scoop on the production. We hope you enjoyed it.
Revenge of the Space Pandas entertained many children from local grade schools this October, but the play was especially enjoyed by the kids of Windy Hill School. 1990 marks the 15th anniversary of Windy Hill, Colby Sawyer College's school for toddlers through the 3rd grade. In addition to professional staff, Windy Hill employs child study, nursing, and psychology majors for experience in working with children. Janet Condick Bliss is director and founder of Windy Hill School.
So 15 years ago, Windy Hill moved on to the campus here, and the college purchased all of my supplies and the name and hired me to teach the kindergarten and nursery school program here. And we were originally in Abbey Dorm. We had the large, what was formerly known as the butt room in there, and the little area outside of that. That was the total space for Windy Hill School. We had approximately 20 children in there. As you may know, we now occupy the entire basement of Abbey and a good share of Burpee, and we've since, added the toddler program and expanded to an elementary program. And from those 20 children, today we now have 90-something families enrolled in the program. So we've grown a lot. There are many things about Windy Hill's environment that are conducive to learning, whether it be the materials, the teachers, the way the environment is set up. But I think that the thing that people ought to pick up on when they come here is the fact that children are encouraged to use the materials. In other words, it's what you typically hear people refer to as a hands-on type of environment. So that, I guess, our philosophy, to be summed up, is that children learn by doing. The other very important thing, of course, is the type of respect that teachers show for children, not only in being polite and that kind of respect, but really knowing what's appropriate for young children and acting upon that so that you have materials that are placed within their reach, things that they can take out, things that they can put away. You give them lots of appropriate types of choices so that you encourage their independence, you encourage them to solve problems, to be responsible for themselves. Okay, we have 8 teachers in our program, and each program has a head teacher in it. In our toddler program, the head teacher is Leslie Carney. She graduated from our early childhood program here, and she has been with us for 6 years. In the nursery school program, where we have 3 teachers, and I'd like to mention, by the way, that every single one of our teachers has a minimum of a bachelor's degree in early childhood education. In the nursery school program, the head teacher is Sue Blanchard. She also graduated from our early childhood program here at Colby Sawyer, and she has been with us for 5 years. And in the elementary program, Glennis Woodard is the head teacher. She came to us by way of England, where she taught in the British infant school. From there, she went to Holland, and from Holland, she immigrated to Vermont, where she taught a first grade program there. Well, as we mentioned, this is our 15th year as Colby Sawyer's lab school, which of course means, for starters, that we're part of the child study program. But it's not limited to having just child study students in here. We also, of course, have students from psychology in here, sometimes students from the nursing department, and we have students at different levels. The number one responsibility, as I see it, is to build children's self-esteem.
And so, Windy Hill moves on to its 16th year of serving area children.
One of the students at the Windy Hill School has a truly extraordinary mother we here at Colby Sawyer College know as Professor Nancy Crumbine. Her life, however, reaches far beyond the walls of any classroom. She is writer, philosopher, single mother of 2, a minister at the Unitarian Universalist congregation in North Vermont, as well as the friend and professor we see here every day. I managed to catch up with Nancy Crumbine to find out exactly how one woman can handle such a diverse lifestyle.
Well, I love my work. I love my kids. And that's all I do is work on my kids. The children are in daycare, full days, Monday through Friday. And then we get home and I'm with them, and then as soon as they're asleep, I'm back at my desk at night. But the main thing is just the energy feeds each other. The children have taught me so much about teaching and about philosophy and religion. I was just learning incredible amounts from them, and they give me energy in that line. And vice versa, the work that I do, I'm really graced by the fact that the work I do is intimately connected with parenting. A number of my talks, for instance, my speeches come out of, my lectures come out of experiences I have with the children. My home life is children. But they're starting to play together more, which is great. They run around the house. My home life is loud. The two of them are, where they're getting along well, they're running around screaming, or they're fighting, they're running around screaming. So,
describe the basis of your church.
Unitarian Universalist Church is a non-church in some ways. It's committed to not having any dogma, that it's open to anybody of any persuasion, and a real commitment to individual right to develop their own religious beliefs. And within the Unitarian Universalist belief includes atheists, from atheists to people who call themselves Christians, and anything in between. So I've found it wonderful, and yet it also has an interest in spirituality, seeking out what it might mean to live fully awake, to be awake to the wonder of things, to be appreciative and thankful for what is, What happens in the classroom is just magical. Not all the time, not every day, but most of the time it's magical what happens when you get a group of people together to think about something. It doesn't matter who they are or how much they've thought about it before, but if you really invite them to think with you and with each other and help them learn how to listen undefensively, it's amazing what happens. It's gorgeous what happens. You know? I mean, people really learn from each other, and that, I mean, to be the facilitator for that is a real privilege. I really love that. I mean, that's what keeps me going. I've been teaching for 23 years now. My writing is part of the teaching and the lecturing for the Unitarians. I have a book that is the complete first draft. The title of the book, the working title, is Choosing the Better Part, and it's a series of philosophic essays that are jumping off of literature and philosophy. Most of the way I've structured it now is that the chapters open with a selection, a reading selection, and then it's my meditation on that. And essentially, the basic question, which has always been my question, is how to lead a life that's meaningful. It's not just a series of appointments, or a series of responses to the urgent. You know, how to live a life that's in response to what's important, not just what is in response to what is urgent.
Our final story is about seniors who are rapidly approaching graduation, and their thoughts are turning to preparations for life after college. Geisha Abbott, a sports management major from Jackson, New Hampshire.
I'm concerned about finding a job once I get out, and also basically finding a job within my major, because often graduates get out and there is no jobs available within their major, so they go to something else.
Betsy Marcello, an American Studies major from Glen Ridge, New Jersey. My main concerns right now, I think, are just my own immediate future as far as am I going to get a job after graduation, and what kind of future I have for myself. But I also believe that we should think about what's going on in Iraq and just global concerns as well. Heather Cutting, a nursing major from Guilford, Vermont.
I don't feel unprepared in my nursing knowledge and in the way that I, am able to interact with my patients. But I think I'll feel unprepared with life, getting an apartment, paying bills, that kind of thing. Those are the things that I feel like I have no clue about right now. Taxes, all that kind of stuff.
I think the personal attention that I've received at Colby Sawyer College and the leadership opportunities that have been offered to me really have made a positive impact and have prepared me for anything I might face in the workplace. Dr. Marnie Kurtz, Director of Career Development and Internship.
What this particularly means is that I manage the Career Development Center. The work involves responsibility for planning and administration of a program to prepare students for entry into the world of work or to discover further educational opportunities after graduation.
Mrs. Pat Curtis, Career Development Coordinator.
We encourage students to begin looking for an internship about a year in advance. Students who need help deciding what field to pursue come to the Center for Career Counseling, where we try to match their interests and abilities to possible exploration through an internship.
Nicole Romanos, a child study major from Norfolk, Connecticut.
I think the department that I had, the education department, is a really good department and a strong department. So I feel that when I go into my profession, I'll really have a good handle on what it is that I'm doing. And, I feel good about what I'm going to be doing, and I feel I'm coming out of Colby Sawyer with a strong background and a solid background. The humanities courses and the philosophy courses really made me into a thinker. I used to be the kind of person that I had my opinion and that's the way it was. And now I'm a lot better about listening to other people and really thinking about issues and being interested in things. And I think that's given me a real edge for myself in any situation. Not an edge, just it's made me a better person.
By the time these seniors graduate, the snow will have melted, spring will be upon us, and it will be time for another edition of Colby Sawyer Insights. I'm Kelly Lynch.